Hello, I am Alberto Tufali, and I'm going to present exploring Stokes vectors in the polarization of light in a ferrocell. And in this work, we will study the polarization of light in a thin film of ferrofluid in a device known as Ferrocell, this one, in the presence of a magnetic field, and inside this device we have a ferrofluid, and in systems where there is light scattering by many ion particles forming structures aligned with a magnetic field such as ferrocell, we can have partially polarized light, which allow us to study the polarization states using the Mueller calculation, which is basically a matrix method to manipulate the Stokes vectors that represent the polarization of light. We use this device in order to obtain the light patterns, and we will associate the Stokes parameters from the Stokes vector S, I, Q, U, and V with our experiment. And you can see here Poincare sphere for the different values of the Stokes vectors. So this is one of the light patterns that we have in our experiment, and we have here a magnetic field configuration of a dipole, and we can see in this pattern these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 that are associated with linear polarized light, and this 1, 2, 3, and 4 is represented by these Stokes vectors 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the case of linear polarized light. For when we analyzed this sample using circular polarizer, left and right circular polarizers, we have also observed the existence of circular polarized light 5 and 6 with these patterns for the same case of the dipole configuration, as you can see here. So 5 and 6 are represented by these Stokes parameters here, and with the respective Poincare sphere. It's important to use the Stokes vector to simulate what is happening in our system. And in order to do this, we used Mueller matrices and obtained some light patterns. One of the interesting things that we obtained here is using this Mueller matrix in order to represent a magnetic field of a monopolar configuration of the magnetic field. We can observe the Malus law when we use this sequence of matrix of Mueller matrix operated in the Stokes vector. This is our input Stokes vector, vertical polarized light, and applying this matrix M1 here, and this horizontal polarizer as an analyzer, we obtained this, for the experiment, we obtained this parameter. For this calculation, we obtained this result. So we have here the calculation, and this is our experimental data. So we can compare both to see in this region inside these two green circles the results that we obtained. Since for the experiment and for the calculation using Mueller matrices applied to the Stokes vectors. Using now the Mueller matrix in a configuration of an hexapolar magnetic field that is represented by this sample, we obtained, this is the magnetic field diagram for this hexapolar magnetic field, and this is the pattern that we obtained in analyzing the light intensity in the region of this dashed circle. We obtained this for the experiment, so we can see the amplitude for with these 8 lobes separated by these darked lines that is called isogyres. And this is the result obtained using the Mueller matrix applied to the Stokes vector. And we can compare these two cases, and we can see a good agreement between these two. Conclusions, we presented how to associate the light patterns obtained with a ferrocell subjected to a magnetic field, compared it with other experimental systems where the Mueller calculation is usually applied. Our experiment allows a direct visualization of the polarization phenomena. And here we can find our references, and you can see some of them here. And I strongly recommend that you watch this video too, that you can find at the YouTube Study of Light Polarization by Ferrofluid film using Jones calculus, in order to have more information about our system. And I also recommend this paper that we published recently, exploring the polarization of light in ferrofluids with Mueller matrices. Thank you.